a possible biological lab inside a Las Vegas home, now under investigation.
Oh my, it looks so close, like you can touch them.
What's going on when strange things keep happening one after another, with no warning and no time to get ready? The world we know suddenly feels so strange when things we thought could never happen are now right there in front of our eyes, plain as day. Secret labs get exposed, diseases creeping up, volcanoes shooting fire into the sky, strange objects tearing through the night, multiple suns appearing at the same time, metallic sounds echoing across the air, shadowy figures standing in the clouds, glowing rings hanging in the sky, the heavens seeming to open then close again. 10 phenomena, 10 signs, coming one right after another without stopping. Do you think this is just random, or is it a serious warning? Come along with me, let's keep going and find the real answer, okay? And if you believe, please leave a prayer in the comments as a way to show your faith to the Lord. Amen. Now, let's go deeper together and pull back the curtains on some truly shocking truths. We'll start right now with 1. Secret biolab in Las Vegas uncovered. Deadly disease monsters lurking for humanity. A locked-up garage in the outskirts of Las Vegas was just busted open by federal agents. That led to lots of sealed biological containers and a quiet emergency investigation getting started. No sirens, no public warning, but word spread fast once the FBI and local police blocked off the scene, turning a normal neighborhood into a serious biosecurity hotspot. At this point, this isn't just some random story, it's one we have to face head-on. Inside the garage, agents found over 1,000 illegally stored biological samples. The labels were clear: HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, COVID-19, and a freezer marked Ebola, holding sealed silver bags made for high-risk materials. The equipment, the way things were sorted and stored, it wasn't some makeshift setup. This was an organized lab space built on purpose. The homeowner is a Chinese citizen who was tied to the illegal biolab case in Reedley, California, so this whole thing jumped to high-priority watch right away. According to Fox News, Sheriff Kevin McMahill from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said many of the seized items were identical to what they found in California, from the types of samples to how they were kept. The first check started over a building code violation, but it turned serious fast when dangerous samples showed up. Federal officials now see this as a potential biosecurity threat. Revelation 6-8 comes to mind here, like an echo from far off. I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by plague. The Bible verse isn't meant to replace the investigation's findings, but it paints a picture where disease isn't just a what-if anymore. It's real stuff, sealed up right in the middle of a neighborhood. Matthew 24-7 adds to the uneasy scene. Nation will rise against nation, and there will be famines in various places. In the middle of all that, a secret lab with deadly disease samples makes a lot of people think of warnings that have been talked about for a long time, especially as one global crisis after another keeps piling up. Social media blew up fast with two clear sides. One side is angry and scared about the risk of a bio-leak and asking how oversight could fail so badly. The other side is more careful, saying this might just be an unlicensed medical lab with samples for diagnostic research and no proof anything has spread to the community. The FBI is still testing everything and hasn't released final results yet. They're keeping their official tone neutral for now. Still, the almost exact match to the Reedley case, the huge number of samples way beyond normal, and Ebola sitting in that freezer mean this can't be brushed off. When something like this is sitting right in the middle of Las Vegas, The question isn't just how long it was running, it's how many more places like this are still out there, undiscovered, and how would we even know about them? 2. Mount Mayon erupts violently, the night sky lit up by a terrifying sea of bright red fire. The photos spread like wildfire in just a few hours. A mountain that had stayed quiet for years suddenly glowed like hot coals, and the whole horizon changed color. This wasn't some special effect or a movie scene. It was Mayon in Albay, Philippines, when darkness got pushed back by light coming straight up from deep inside the earth. That moment alone was enough to make anyone stop and stare. Mayon is famous for its perfect cone shape, but this time, that beauty turned into a real threat. From the crater, red-hot material shot hundreds of feet into the air, then poured down the slopes in long, glowing rivers stretching for miles. Thick clouds of ash rolled and twisted, flashing with lightning, painting the sky a strange, dark shade that's hard to describe. Fast-moving flows of super-hot gas, ash, and rock raced down, wiping out everything in their path. Even people far away could see the light bouncing off low clouds, like the whole area was under a burning dome. Standing in front of a sight like that, do you really believe this is just another normal night on Earth? Joel 2:30-31 says it plainly. I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood, fire, and columns of smoke. The sun will turn dark, the moon will turn blood red, before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes. These images that just happened make those words hit hard. You can't easily ignore them. Geologists spoke up quickly. They talked about magma pressure, friction from ash particles creating electricity, and the rules they've recorded for years. To science, this is just a familiar chain of events from a very active volcano. Nothing more, nothing less. Revelation 8-7 describes, the first angel sounded his trumpet, and hail and fire, mixed with blood, fell to the earth. When red light filled the sky, when the smoke column rose high and fire poured down the mountain, the matchup felt too clear to call it just a coincidence. If Mayon can turn an entire night into something this frighteningly bright, the real question is, what's coming next? What will the next mountain say? And when the sky changes color again, will you choose to believe it's all random or start getting ready for what was warned about long ago? 3. Dozens of glowing gold objects streaked across the night sky like a fierce meteor shower. A video got shared everywhere fast. The night sky suddenly lit up. Dozens of golden streaks shot across like rockets. The light lasted longer than usual, covering a big stretch of sky and leaving people stunned. When you see this, what do you think the sky is showing us? It happened in lots of places with little light pollution, where the horizon is wide open and you can see every movement clearly. Witnesses said it looked like a really intense meteor shower, but the color was strange, bright gold, shining like molten metal. That moment made it feel like the sky was pouring down these glowing bits on purpose. The objects appeared almost all at once, moving really fast and leaving long trails of light, hundreds of yards long, against the dark sky. Some trails changed color as they dropped lower, giving a weird sense of depth that's hard to explain. The way they all moved together and that standout gold color made this way different from regular meteors. Matthew 24-29 paints a similar picture. Right after the trouble of those days, the sun will go dark, the moon won't give light, the stars will fall from the sky to the earth, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. When those golden streaks came down together, it felt like those words were coming to life right in front of us. The whole thing only lasted a short time, but long enough for hundreds of videos to pop up. The sky felt alive then, like an invisible door had just swung open. A lot of folks stood quietly, watching each streak disappear below the horizon, with all kinds of questions running through their minds. Revelation 6:13 says, the stars in the sky fell to the earth, like unripe figs, dropping when a strong wind shakes the tree. That falling image brings a feeling that the normal order is slipping out of control. Things up high suddenly coming down low, right into human sight. Astronomers gave the usual explanations. They talked about periodic meteor showers, satellites catching low-angle sunlight, orbits and speeds they've already calculated. The science explains how it works, but it doesn't quite touch the feeling everyone who saw it had. When you put all the pieces together, the huge number of objects, that rare metallic gold color, and them showing up at the same time as other signs around the world, it's a picture that's hard to ignore. For anyone looking for meaning, the Bible feels like the key that unlocks the symbolism behind what's happening. If the sky has started raining these golden lights like that, the big question is, what comes next? Is this just one single moment, or the opening chapter of bigger signs starting to show themselves? 4 suns lined up in the sky over a bright orange suburb in Texas. The sky over a Texas suburb changed suddenly at sunset. Against a deep orange background, 4 suns appeared at the same time, lined up straight across the horizon. Their light overlapped, creating a sharp, intense band of brightness cutting right through the sky. This wasn't a quick flash. It lasted long enough for lots of people to stop, look up, and start recording it, all feeling pretty confused. The light didn't spread softly like a normal evening sun. It shot out straight, sharp, and clear, making the edges of the clouds look razor sharp and the shadows on the ground shift constantly. Everything below seemed visually distorted, like the sky had split into layers. In that moment, we weren't seeing the one familiar sun anymore. We were seeing 4 bright sources all lined up on the same line. Right after the pictures spread, many witnesses described the same feeling. The sky stood still. The light stayed in place. It didn't move quickly. That made this different from those brief optical illusions. For people who saw it in person, the first reaction wasn't curiosity, it was caution. Luke 21:25-26 came to mind as something worth thinking about. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity. The image of multiple suns appearing together hits right at the heart of signs in the sun. Not just one strange light, but a real change in the normal order of the sky. On social media, the debate started immediately. Some people said it was a parhelia effect, where ice crystals in the atmosphere bend the light and create extra suns on either side of the real one. Those explanations come from physics and have been seen before, usually in cold weather. Others focused on the details, the unusually deep orange sky, 4 clear disks lined up perfectly, and how long it lasted so everyone could see it with their own eyes. For them, it wasn't about the scientific name. The real issue was the feeling that the natural order was being broken right in front of them. Joel 2:31 adds to the picture. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and dreadful day of the Lord comes. This Bible verse doesn't explain how it happens, but it points to changes in the heavens as a warning sign. When the sky stops behaving the way we're used to, the question isn't just what to call the phenomenon. It's about what it means that these things are happening more and more often. If 4 suns can show up together in the sky today, how much further will the next sign push what we think is possible? 5. The trumpet sound echoed everywhere. The sky shook like the end of the world was coming close. In the quiet middle of the night, the sky suddenly gave off a deep, heavy metallic sound that stretched out and spread wide like one huge trumpet blast. It started in London, rolled over to Sweden, hit Michigan, then reached British Columbia, leaving people in a wide belt of towns, stunned. In that moment, we realized the sky wasn't silent anymore like it usually is. The trumpet blasts came in waves, cutting through the air, sounding clear like metal being squeezed, pulled, and bent way up high. Lots of folks woke up, stepped outside, and recorded it while the noise just hung there overhead. In British Columbia, Dr. Glenn McPherson noted it even when every electric device in his house was off, the vibration still came through stronger, as if the source was right above the clouds. Revelation 8-6 gives a key to understand it. The 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them. Short words, but they focus on a sound coming from above, not from the earth. When those metallic trumpet blasts rang out at the same time across different continents, the Bible picture suddenly felt real and close like never before. Revelation 11:15 keeps leading the thought. The 7th angel sounded his trumpet, and there were loud voices in heaven, which said, "The kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Messiah." Here, the trumpet isn't just noise, it's a signal marking a big, deciding change for all people. Scientists offer other explanations. Some experts say it's distant industrial noise, train brakes, or sound waves bent in the atmosphere from temperature and pressure changes. Those ideas come from physics and have popped up here and there in history. But from a faith view, the question goes deeper. The sound showed up at the same time in far apart places, with the same features, described the same way: deep, heavy, long metallic trumpet. While science looks at how it works, the Bible points to what it means and when it's happening. What's really striking is how people reacted. On social media, thousands of videos got shared, comments poured in, feelings swung between fear and waking up. For many, the sound didn't just scare them, it made them stop and think about where they stand in the bigger picture. If those trumpet blasts have already sounded and been heard around the world, the question now is what comes next. Is this just the first call, or a sign warning of a final trumpet that will shake the whole familiar order of the world? 6. A mysterious figure like a human shadow floating against the blue sky. A short video suddenly went viral on social media. It captured a moment where a shape that looks just like a person stands upright, high among the clouds, completely separate from any normal part of the sky. The image just hangs there, not falling, not fading, not blending into the clouds. It makes people stop and look closely right away. The first feeling isn't curiosity, it's unease. In that moment, we realize the sky might be hiding something. At first, the figure is just a faint, dark streak, but the longer you watch, the clearer it gets. A body, a head, and a straight, standing posture. It drifts slowly, shifting position gently, almost like it's watching what's below. The space around it is so quiet, it feels eerie, while the figure stands still in the middle of a huge sea of clouds. It gives the sense of a purposeful presence. For a lot of people, that moment sends chills down their spine, because the shape looks way too human to be just random. When the video gets zoomed in and shared again, the debate explodes. Some folks insist it's only clouds forming a shape. Others point out that the way the figure moves doesn't match how clouds naturally drift. No one's asking you to believe anything here, but that image forces you to face a question you can't easily ignore. Matthew 24-30 comes up as a key reminder. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven. All the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. This Bible verse doesn't describe the exact shape, but it stresses a sign appearing in the clouds, in a place where everyone's eyes will look up. Revelation 1-7 adds more. Look, he is coming with the clouds. Every eye will see him. The focus is on an open appearance, not hidden, not secret. When a figure stands among the clouds and gets caught on camera from different angles, those Bible words become hard to set aside as you think about faith. On social media, two clear sides form. One side says it's an optical illusion, light effects, and layered clouds. The other side focuses on the shared feeling the video creates, the heavy silence, the upright stance, and the sense of being watched from above. Both sides have their arguments, but neither can fully close the story. What really stands out isn't deciding who's right or wrong, It's how the image affects everyone's thinking. When the sky stops being just clouds and sunlight and starts carrying shapes that make people pause and wonder, faith gets stirred up naturally. If more figures like this keep showing up among the clouds, the question isn't, "What is that?" anymore. It becomes, "What is being warned about?" And when people's eyes are forced to look up high, are we truly ready for the real meaning of the signs that are starting to appear? 7. A strange, glowing ring appears in the night sky over Chile. The night sky over Chile suddenly had this huge, perfectly round ring of light hanging there, so perfect it almost didn't seem real, frozen in place like time stood still. A soft golden glow spread evenly around the whole circle, cutting through the quiet darkness and making everyone who saw it look up in shock. The video only lasts a few dozen seconds, but it was enough to leave millions of people stunned, because it looked more like a door had just opened than some normal thing in the sky. The ring stayed exactly the same shape, completely still at a high altitude, with steady light, no shaking, no flickering. It felt like a complete structure, with sharp edges and an empty center, more like a passageway than just an object. After a few seconds, the light slowly faded. The circle blurred, then disappeared, leaving the sky empty again and one big question with no answer. If you were standing there, what would you think you just saw? A lot of people brought up Revelation 4:1 right away as a key. After this I looked, and there before me was a door standing open in heaven. The Bible verse doesn't talk about light or a specific shape, but it stresses the idea of something opening, a boundary between two worlds lifted for just a brief moment. The video spread fast and brought all kinds of guesses. Some saw it as a swirling energy ring, others thought of a space gate, and some felt it was a sign of something much bigger coming. The main feeling it left wasn't outright terror, but a quiet unease, like the sky had just shown a structure that's always been there but rarely seen. Revelation 9:1-2 came up too, as a warning kind of explanation. I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. It opened the abyss. Here, the door image ties to hidden realities being uncovered, things beyond normal human understanding. Of course, there are technical explanations that it's probably rocket upper stage fuel dump, creating a ring of light when it reflects sunlight from tens of miles up. But that answer doesn't quite ease the feeling the image gives. The symmetry is too perfect, the stillness too complete, and it feels like something intentional showed up in the night sky. What makes this story worth thinking about isn't deciding whether to believe it or dismiss it. It's that it forces us to rethink the line between what we see every day and what we're not really ready to face. If that glowing ring really was a door, how long was it open? And did we just happen to catch that rare moment? Because if a door really appeared in the night sky over Chile, the final question still hangs there. Who opened it? And what will come through the next time it opens? 8. Giant symmetrical smoke ring in the sky. Down below the airplane wing, right in the middle of a sea of gray clouds, a huge perfect circle appeared, looking like someone had punched a hole straight through the sky. Thick smoke formed the edge, perfectly round, just hanging there strangely still at tens of thousands of feet up. The scene was shot quickly through the window, shaking a little from the high-altitude wind, enough to give you chills down your spine. What in the world are we looking at? The person filming was a passenger right by the window. Once the plane leveled off, his eyes locked onto this thing suspended in the clouds. The smoke ring was so big it filled the whole view, probably hundreds of feet across, with sharp, round edges, like someone drew it with a compass. The smoke didn't spread or fall apart. It held its shape for many seconds before slowly fading. At that height, wind tears everything apart fast, but this ring just stayed put. The video popped up online and spread like wildfire. Comments exploded, people arguing hard, every frame picked apart. Some said it's an open gate, others thought it's a sign, and a few tried to find a safer explanation. but most felt uneasy because whatever was floating there didn't look like anything normal you'd see in the regular sky. Isaiah 64:1 records a powerful cry. "Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down, that the mountains might quake at your presence." That Bible image of tearing open the sky is violent and direct. It describes breaking the normal order. When you put those words next to this round smoke ring hanging in the clouds, the connection is hard to ignore. Lots of folks offered scientific ideas, saying it might be a glory effect or some contrail from aerospace activity. But a glory is usually a faint halo of light tied to the plane's shadow, and aircraft trails rarely make a perfect steady circle sitting still in open cloud layers. Those details make the technical explanations feel shaky. Revelation 19:11 paints a different scene. "Then I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. The one sitting on it is called Faithful and True." Here the sky isn't just quiet background anymore. It becomes the stage for judgment. Scripture doesn't use that picture to comfort us. It's meant to warn us. So this smoke ring in the clouds isn't just something to look at. It hits right at our sense of safety when we're flying high, reminding us the sky isn't always peaceful. As someone who tries to sound the alarm, I'm not saying for sure it's supernatural, but I will say this: some sights show up to make us stop and think. If the sky really was torn open, even just for a moment, it's not for entertainment or curiosity. The question still hangs there, just like that ring. When the boundary gets drawn, will we look the other way or get ready for whatever's about to come through? 9. A pale blue door in the sky, just hanging there, like a pathway leading to another world. At the edge of the night horizon, in the thin, misty clouds, a soft patch of pale green light drifts slowly and just stays suspended. The light is gentle, spreading evenly, making everything around it feel covered by a strange, different veil. The woman holding her phone stands still, the picture shaking just a little. Have we ever thought the night sky could open up like this? From what people say, at first it was just a faint streak of light. A few seconds later, the shape stretched out, the edges straightened, giving the feeling like a frame was being built right in the middle of the air. The blue-green glow didn't flicker or flash, didn't come with any sound. It just quietly appeared and then changed. The feeling it left was both strange and peaceful, like something was being gently revealed. The video got shared and quickly caught a lot of attention. Viewers paused on every frame, zoomed in on every detail. Some called it a light illusion. Others felt it carried a spiritual message. The mystery of it is exactly what makes it hard to ignore, because it doesn't force a clear answer on you. Revelation 4:1 paints a picture worth thinking about. After this, I looked, and there before me was a door standing open in heaven. And the voice I had first heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, "Come up here." The words don't describe the shape in detail, but they suggest a moment when heaven and earth connect. When you put it next to that green light hanging at the edge of the clouds, the connection feels very natural. Some folks say it was just a gap in the clouds where city lights or moonlight shone through. Others mentioned a drone with LED lights. Those possibilities are real, but they don't fully explain why the shape changed so slowly, giving that sense of depth, like another space was opening up. John 10:9 records Jesus' words, "I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved." Here, the door isn't just a physical entrance, it's an invitation. The Bible often uses that image to talk about choices, about faith, and about important turning points in a person's life. When I watch the video again, what stays with me isn't fear. It's a kind of quiet waiting that's hard to name. That green light didn't rush in, didn't push anyone away. It just showed up and then faded back. As something that stirs faith, I see it like a gentle reminder. There are things that only open when we stop and really listen. If there really is an opening beyond our usual understanding, The question isn't what it is. The question is this: when that moment comes, are we ready to believe we're being invited to step closer? 10. A spinning light behind the clouds. The mysterious, perfect circle in the dark night. The darkness was torn open by a strange glow behind thick clouds, fading in and out, still then moving. The man out for a walk stopped dead in his tracks, eyes locked on the sky as that light started spinning into an almost perfect circle. That moment sent chills down anyone who saw it. What would we do if the sky suddenly spoke right in front of us? At first, it was just a faint spot, like a hidden light. A few breaths later, it closed into a full, even circle, turning steadily behind the cloud layer. The motion was slow, steady, no sound at all, like something carefully arranged. Then the ring of light faded away, melting into the night, leaving a heavy silence behind. The video spread fast and drew millions of eyes. People paused on every frame, trying to find something solid to hold on to. It felt like a symbol had just been drawn across the sky, there long enough to be seen, then gone before anyone could fully grasp it. The big question still hangs there, refusing to go away. Luke 21:25 comes through like a direct warning. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish. This Bible verse doesn't describe the exact shape, but it stresses signs that break the normal rhythm of nature. When you put it next to that spinning ring of light in the night, the coincidence gets hard to ignore. Many people suggest it could be light reflected from a rocket, an airplane beacon, or some drone. Those ideas get mentioned to calm folks down. Still, the perfect round shape and even spinning give the feeling it was intentional, like a message being sent, not just some random glitch. Revelation 12:1 says, "A great sign appeared in heaven." In Scripture, a great sign often ties to times of judgment and decision. Here, the sky isn't just a backdrop. It becomes the place where something is announced. As someone who warns, I don't see this as a curiosity to wonder about. I see it as a serious reminder of our responsibility before what's coming closer. The ring of light is gone now, but the feeling it left stays. As these signs keep showing up more often, the question isn't whether they're real anymore. The question is where we stand in this moment. If this is the last knock from the sky, then silence or indifference, where will that take us when the final judgment is spoken? Here are 10 phenomena we've seen lately. They're no longer just separate events. Strange sounds echoing in the sky, glowing rings hanging in the clouds, shadowy shapes floating in the night, spinning lights that suddenly vanish. All of them connect into one ongoing sequence. Each one is like a small puzzle piece, but when you put them together, they form a much bigger picture, way beyond what any single person can see alone. When you step back and look at the whole thing, it's really hard to call these just random moments. The Bible talks many times about a period when the heavens and the earth both start to speak up. Luke 21:11 puts it plainly, "There will be great terrors and great signs from heaven." What we're seeing today makes that verse feel less distant and more real, like it's happening right here in our own generation. Not every phenomenon has a clear explanation, and not everyone experiences them the same way. But the Bible never asks us to understand every mystery. Instead, it calls us to stay awake and alert. Matthew 24-42 says, "Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come." That kind of watchfulness isn't about being afraid. It's about being aware of what we're facing. These signs in the sky, even if they spark debate, still raise the same big question for all of us. Where are we putting our trust? In a world full of confusion and chaos, the Bible points to one solid place to stand. Proverbs 3-5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." When everything around us shifts, faith becomes the place we return to for steadiness. If this series of events stirs something in you, a thought, a concern, or a quiet prayer you want to offer to God, don't keep it to yourself. You can jot down a short prayer or share your honest feelings in the comments below as a way of responding to what you've seen and heard. If these messages mean something to you, please share them so others can think about them too. Supporting the channel isn't just a technical thing. It's a way to walk together through more of this content, where we'll keep looking at these signs and reminders as they unfold. Finally, thank you so much to everyone who's listened this far. May the Lord give you and your family His peace, protect you in these uncertain days, and guide every step with His light. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you." May that peace stay with us all. Amen.
Да, гигант из гигантов.
What's going on when everything starts spinning out of control all at once? In just a short time, nature suddenly turns and acts without hesitation. Snow and ice rush down into places that used to be warm. The ground collapses and swallows whole villages. Tornadoes rise up under clear skies. Strange lights shoot straight up high, then go out. Clouds gather and change shape right on top of mountains. 10 events hit one after another, fast and hard, not following any usual pattern. They happen in different places, leaving behind damage, fear, and questions with no answers yet. Do you think this is just random chance? If something inside you feels uneasy, please leave a prayer in the comments as a way to show your faith in the Lord. Amen. Now, so you don't have to wait long, let's keep going together into the next part to look for some answers. We'll start right with 1. Terrifying blizzard hits California. Heavy snow everywhere. People running out of food and getting desperate. California is facing a really tough, rare challenge right now, and it makes us stop and really look at what's happening. A place that's used to warm sun, blue ocean, and wide-open freeways is suddenly locked in ice and snow, with everyday life pushed to the breaking point. The urgency isn't just from weather forecasts. It's coming from the pictures and numbers coming in hour by hour. This blizzard came from a strong atmospheric river, mixing with a big blast of cold air dropping down from the Arctic. Weather experts say the clash created way more rain and snow than usual, all packed into a short time. According to Fox News, many mountain areas in California got 6 to 10 feet of snow in just a few days, far more than the normal total for whole years. In about 36 hours, big stores like Costco, Walmart, and Trader Joe's in lots of places ran completely out of basics, from bottled water to canned food. In places like Big Bear Lake, Lake Arrowhead, and Mammoth Lakes, snow is piled deep on roofs, parking lots, and main roads. Key highways, I-5, I-15, and SR 330 got shut down because of chain reaction crashes and avalanches. Matthew 24:7 says, "There will be famines and earthquakes in various places." People often bring up this Bible verse as a warning about times of widespread crisis, when shortages stop being just local and start hitting whole communities hard. Local governments in San Bernardino and nearby counties declared a state of emergency. The National Guard got called in, and Black Hawk helicopters dropped food and supplies to cut off neighborhoods. Still, officials admit the help can't keep up with the need, especially for older folks and families with little kids. The 911 lines were jammed for hours. Luke 21:11 records, "There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places." When you put those words next to pictures of cars stuck in long lines and neighborhoods cut off, the warning feels very real, not like some far-off figure of speech, but a reminder of how fragile modern life really is. Some scientists say this is the result of climate change mixed with La Niña, making blizzards happen more often and hit harder. But according to Fox News, many forecast models didn't see how fast the snow would pile up or how long the roads and supply lines would stay knocked out. Joel 2:30 says, "I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." With white snow covering California and camp stoves fired up in the freezing night, that warning rings out as a reminder that this isn't just bad weather. It's a sign the world is heading into deeper trouble. And while California is still struggling to dig out from all this heavy snow, somewhere else on Earth, the ground is starting to give way in ways that are even harder to predict. 2. A massive crack in the Earth's layers in Indonesia. A mountain hollowed out, rocks crumbling like cookies. A mountain hollowed out from the inside, with dirt and rocks breaking apart and collapsing like they've lost all weight. Those pictures aren't from a disaster movie. They're from a real village that's still there today. When the ground lost its strength in just a few hours, that usual feeling of safety vanished completely. It happened in Pondok Balik Village, Ketol District, Central Aceh Province, Indonesia, where a huge sinkhole suddenly opened up and kept spreading. The surface area has gone over 32,000 square meters. That's about 7.9 acres, and there's no sign of it stopping. What gives people chills isn't just the size, but how fast it's happening. The ground is dropping in clear stages, easy to see with your own eyes. Aceh sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a place well known for cracked earth, volcanoes, and long stretches of heavy rain. Rainwater has soaked deep into the ground for years, quietly eating away at hidden rock layers and creating empty spaces no one could see. News reports say it's the combo of weak underground structure and non-stop heavy rain that pushed this spot to the breaking point. The sinkhole drops dozens of meters deep, over 100 feet in some places, with water rushing down from above and up from below like waterfalls. The walls keep collapsing, pulling in dirt, rocks, and trees. A nearby mountain was found to be almost hollow inside. The rock that seemed so solid just crumbles easily under pressure. In all this, we're not just seeing a geological accident, we're watching the foundation of people's lives fall apart. Matthew 24:7 says, "There will be earthquakes in various places." That Bible verse is often seen as a kind of key, showing that the shaking isn't only on the surface. It starts deep down inside the earth too. Indonesia's geological agency has issued the highest level warning and called for urgent evacuation of hundreds of families. Experts explain this as a sinkhole caused by karst erosion combined with heavy rain, a natural process that can happen in limestone areas. But they also admit that the speed of expansion in just a few days, swallowing up dozens of acres, is extremely rare. Revelation 6:12 records, "I watched as the Lamb opened the sixth seal, the earth shook violently." When you put those words next to pictures of a hollow mountain and ground collapsing over and over, a lot of folks believe this isn't just one isolated event. It's a sign that the world's foundations are being shaken. Romans 8:22 says, "We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time." The land splitting open, mountains hollowed out, that's a groan you can't ignore. And when the earth is roaring like this in one place, the sky somewhere else is about to answer with signs that are even harder to believe. 3. A tornado appeared out of nowhere and full of mystery in Canada, a swirling column hunting its prey under a clear sky. The calm grass suddenly started rolling up. Mist spun into a standing pillar, creeping slowly across the open space. Are we really sure we're seeing something normal? Or is something actively moving closer? It happened at a remote campsite in Canada, a place usually known for thick woods and peaceful lakes. There was no rain, no thick storm clouds. The sky stayed a steady, bright afternoon blue. That very contrast left the witnesses unable to make sense of what was happening around them. A group of campers were sitting by the fire, talking, when a thin mist suddenly rolled in from different directions. In just a few dozen seconds, that mist stood up into a spinning column, hundreds of feet tall, whirling fiercely but without pulling strong winds around it. It snaked its way between the tents and trees, almost like it was searching, then let out a low rumbling sound, like a distant growl. The column lasted about 3 to 4 minutes, long enough to scare people, but too short to fully understand. When it vanished, the ground went quiet again, leaving only panic and unanswered questions. Matthew 24:7 mentions earthquakes in many places, and the phrase, "there will be earthquakes in various places," suggests those shocks don't always have to be right under our feet. Canada is no stranger to weak whirlwinds that form from local conditions, but this one showed up when all the weather readings were steady, not matching the usual patterns. Luke 21:25 talks about signs that leave nations puzzled by roaring and violent movements, and the line, "nations will be in anguish," seems to mirror exactly how those people felt right then. Afterward, opinions split in different directions. Some saw it as a rare but natural event. Others thought it was just a quick cold vortex passing through. On the other hand, plenty of voices expressed unease, a feeling that nature was showing something beyond our usual understanding. Joel 2:30 speaks of wonders in the heavens and on the earth, and that Bible verse is often taken more as a hint than a strict conclusion. Scientists offered technical terms to explain it, but they also admitted some details didn't fully line up with standard data. The way it formed so fast, moved so strangely, and disappeared suddenly left many questions hanging. When old patterns no longer explain everything, that uneasy feeling starts to spread. A whirlwind showing up under a clear sky isn't just some odd weather event. It's more like a warning bell that the familiar order is being tested, and creation itself can become a powerful wake-up call. And once the air starts to take on the feel of a hunt, those unusual movements from farther up in the sky probably aren't far off either. 4. A strange white orb and a mysterious glowing sphere shot across the sky in Valle de Bravo, Mexico. A grayish-white shape hung in the hazy sky, its edges blurry, like light was bending around it. The form was huge yet twisted, not like any plane, not like any cloud. Suddenly, everything around felt strangely quiet. The first feeling wasn't fear, just an odd, empty space inside. It happened on the forest trails in Valle de Bravo, a place used to morning mist and thick tree canopies. A heavy sound came from far off, nothing like a normal engine. So, when the camera started rolling, the thing was already hovering high up. It stayed still for a few quick breaths, then moved in a way no one was ready for. It made an almost square turn, sharp and chilling, then sped off behind the cliff. Right in the center of the main shape was a dark hollow spot, and from there, a bright white ball shot out, gone from the frame in a flash. Do we call that moment a physics thing, or a signal being sent down? Luke 21:11 says there will be terrible things and great signs from heaven. The verse doesn't give details about shape or how it works. It just stresses the overwhelming feeling and unease when people face something way beyond what we normally understand. After the video spread, opinions split in different directions. Some said it's just a big remote-controlled flying device, or maybe a visual trick from the angle and light. Others pushed back, saying no known public technology can make that instant sharp turn, let alone launch a smaller object at a speed the eye can barely follow. Matthew 24:29-30 says, "The stars will fall from the sky, and then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven." For many, this isn't a technical explanation. It's a hint about things in the sky that mean far more than just one odd event. The online debate kept growing, from cool-headed doubt to careful curiosity to quiet worry. Some see it as proof of intelligence beyond Earth. Others see a reminder of how limited human understanding really is. No single view took over completely, and that very hesitation is what keeps the story alive. As more strange images show up in the sky, maybe the important thing isn't rushing to decide what they are. They make us look up and wonder about our place in something much bigger. And once that strange light flashes overhead, the next question isn't, "What is it?" anymore. It's, "Are we ready for whatever's coming?" 5. A mysterious green beam shooting straight up into the sky. A column of green light rose straight up from the ground in the dark night, perfectly vertical and sharp like a cut across the sky. No sparks, no explosion, just this cold light shooting upward and then stopping in midair. Have you ever thought light could appear without leaving any physical trace at all? Just a few seconds later, that green column spread out into a bright orange ring, so perfectly round it was hard to believe, hanging there like a sign drawn right on the sky. Everything around was dead quiet. The camera didn't shake. The background stayed the same. Then the ring slowly faded and vanished, leaving an empty space that gave viewers chills down their spine. Joel 2:30 once warned, "I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood, fire, and pillars of smoke." Quote, the pillar isn't described as chaos, but as something that appears with a clear shape, standing firm for a brief moment before it disappears. That makes a lot of people think of a message placed exactly where and when it was meant to be. The video spread fast, but what really shocked people wasn't the colors, it was the total silence. No sound, no shockwave, no aircraft warning. The green smoothly turned to orange, no scattering, no trailing streaks, as if someone was controlling every single shift. Luke 21:11 records that great signs from heaven. The word great doesn't just mean size, it also means the impact on people's minds. It makes folks stop, look up, and realize some things are happening beyond our usual control. When experts looked at the video again, lots of ideas came up. Some said it might be a high-power laser test. Others mentioned a rare atmospheric optical effect. But the analyses show normal lasers cause obvious scattering, and atmospheric events usually come with changes in the background light, none of which showed up in this recording. Revelation 8:12 says, "A third of the sun, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars were struck, so that a third of them went dark." In the Bible, light and darkness aren't just physical things, they're signs of a shift in order. When light shows up in ways that break the normal rules, it feels more like a warning than something fun to watch. No official confirmation, no clear explanation, just the image of what happened and questions left hanging. If a beam of light can appear, change, and vanish in complete silence, what happens when the sky doesn't send just one single signal? 6. A row of blue lights quietly drifted across the sky over Romania, then vanished without a trace. The night sky in western Romania opened up a scene that's hard to put a name to. A faint, cold blue glow slid through the low clouds, lined up in a straight, even row with perfect spacing, like something placed there on purpose, not random lights. For that moment, it felt like we were seeing something way outside the usual pattern of a European night sky. It happened near the city of Timișoara, where a bunch of people all saw the same thing at once, a strong line of glowing blue lights moving steadily sideways across the sky. They passed right overhead for about 20 to 30 seconds, staying in perfect formation, moving at the same speed, then all blinked out, almost together. What was left was this strange empty feeling in your eyes, like the sky had just closed a short scene we didn't get time to figure out. Matthew 24-29 says, "The stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken." People usually read that as symbolic language. But when lights show up and disappear in such an orderly, hard-to-explain way, a lot of folks start thinking about changes that go beyond just physical stuff. Videos spreading online show the row of lights holding that tight formation the whole time they moved. Some witnesses said the lights didn't flicker, didn't leave any trails, and didn't noticeably change height. Those details turned the whole thing into a hot topic in online groups, from astronomy forums to ones talking about unidentified phenomena. Luke 21:25 records, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity." That Bible verse gets brought up a lot when people face things that shake their sense of control, especially when what we know right now isn't enough to give a clear answer. Some folks think the lights could be tied to remote-controlled drones or secret military tests. Others lean toward a rare astronomy thing, like high-altitude light reflections. Then there are people who see it through a spiritual lens, taking it as a kind of warning sign. The discussions keep going side by side, each view based on different data, experiences, and beliefs. Revelation 6:13 describes, "The stars in the sky fell to the earth like green figs, shaken loose by a strong wind." That picture gives a sense of orderly movement, but way beyond normal expectations. It's oddly similar to how those blue lights appeared and then slipped out of sight. Whether you explain it with science or faith, that chain of lights left a strong mark in the minds of those who saw it. When the sky starts acting in ways we can't easily explain, the question isn't just where it came from, it's what it might mean. And just as things quieted down in Romania, reports from Arizona started mentioning other hovering shapes, almost like the sky is continuing a message that isn't finished yet. 7. A glowing living cloud floating above Piestewa Peak, Arizona. The sky over Piestewa Peak opened up a sight that shakes up everything we usually think we know. A cloud hung low, shining with a silvery blue glow, its shape twisting and turning like it was adjusting itself. That strange feeling spread fast, because whatever was up there seemed to have a mind of its own, not like the rest of the Arizona desert sky. It was caught on video when a runner paused on the trail. The cloud drifted slowly, its surface shifting with every gentle pulse, giving off a soft but steady light. Watching it, you could tell the movement felt alive, more like a living thing than just some normal weather pattern. Joel 2:30 says, "Wonders in the heavens and on the earth." That Bible verse used to be seen as poetic prophecy, but when a glowing cloud shows up looking this unusual, a lot of folks start reading those words in a more direct, less symbolic way. The close-up video shows the cloud's surface reflecting light like liquid metal, patterns changing constantly, spirals opening and closing in short cycles. It stayed steady right above the mountainside, almost like it was watching the area around it. It hung there long enough for people to record it and share, then faded away, leaving plenty of questions hanging in the air. Luke 21:11 records, "Great terrors and wonderful signs from heaven." Here, terrors means that stunned feeling in your mind when you face something that doesn't fit any normal explanation. That cloud created exactly that quiet but powerful reaction. Weather experts who looked at it suggested low-altitude plasma, a rare lenticular cloud, or some light effect combined with moisture. The science side sticks to physics, energy, and the special desert conditions. On the other hand, many who saw it say the rhythmic motion and self-generated light point to something more symbolic than purely natural. Revelation 19:11 describes, "I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse." That picture is often taken as the start of big events, with the sky becoming a stage for spiritual signs. So, this glowing cloud over Piestewa Peak fits right into that line of thought as a kind of invitation to think deeper. Between science and faith, two views run side by side, each built on its own foundation. One looks for physical explanations, the other for spiritual meaning. That cloud sits right on the line between the two worlds, making anyone who sees it question the limits of what they think they understand. When a cloud starts looking alive and the sky seems to be opening up, there are probably deeper layers of events still waiting to show themselves. And in another spot across the desert, patterns of lights are starting to appear in an orderly way that has people watching the night sky more closely. 8. A vertical row of mysterious lights with a beam piercing the sky. The Arizona sky showed something hard to describe. A tall column of light standing straight up in the dark night, surrounded by layers of bright points that shifted positions in a strange, orderly way. The sight made a lot of people stop and stare for a long time because an uneasy feeling hit right from the first second. We all knew this wasn't the usual kind of light we'd seen on quiet desert nights. The videos that were recorded show the lights shining brightly, lined up vertically like some kind of intentional structure. A white beam shot straight up high, staying fixed in place, while smaller bright points spun around it, splitting apart, then coming back together in patterns that kept changing. The whole thing lasted long enough for different camera angles to appear, which started a big wave of sharing online. Matthew 24:24 warns, "For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders." In this case, many people see that Bible verse as a kind of warning, not aimed at this one event specifically, but at the true nature of these signs that shake people up and leave them confused. When technical breakdowns came out, some graphics experts said the video has signs of CGI, from the perfectly synced movements to the overly flawless lighting. That argument spread fast and sparked a strong pushback from online communities. Many folks said the real fear you feel when seeing it in person can't just be dismissed with a few tech details. Matthew 24:24 goes on to stress, to deceive, so as to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Here, the main point isn't whether it's real or fake, but the mental and emotional impact those images create. The Bible's warning points straight at how easily people can be led astray by things that hit the eyes and stir up feelings. On the forums, two main views run side by side. One side sees it as clever special effects, showing how easily images can be manipulated in the digital age. The other side views the event as part of a continuing series of signs in the sky, believing the lights forming patterns means something deeper than just entertainment or a hoax. That image kept a lot of people awake at night, led to heated arguments, and made them question the reality they're living in. It's exactly where technology, faith, and fear meet, and the line between real and fake gets really thin. So Matthew 24:24 rings out like an accusation for our time, when people can get swept up in strange signs and forget the clear-headedness they need. Even if the video gets labeled CGI, the psychological effect it produces is still there, and that's the part really worth thinking about. When lights in the sky can line up in perfect formation, another quiet question comes up. How many more signs will show up to test people's ability to tell what's what? And on the horizon, a different kind of movement is starting to catch the eye of those who keep watching patiently. 9. A glowing green orb, with something moving inside it, just hovering, then fading away. That night, the night sky showed a steady green light hanging there, maybe a couple 100 feet up. The light was round, even, and stayed perfectly still. When the camera zoomed in, you could see blurry shapes inside the glow, moving in their own rhythm, like some kind of self-running system. That moment made people pause longer than usual. What do you think could make a light just hang there quietly, then disappear right in front of so many eyes? The green glow held steady for a few seconds. Then the brightness slowly dropped until it faded out completely. Inside, the shapes changed direction, stretched and shrank, and finally blended into the dark sky. The whole thing happened quick and clean. No sound, no shake, no leftover trace. The sky went back to being empty, just like before. People came up with technical explanations, spotlights, reflections, some test drone or aircraft. Still, the way it moved on the inside and the exact sequence of fading raised a lot of questions. How it kept its shape so solid, then pulled back in its own orderly way, that makes pure mechanical ideas harder to swallow. A feeling of being watched popped up in a lot of comments, spreading like a shared instinct. Luke 21:11 says, "Great signs in the sky," short, straight words that set the stage for things way outside normal watching. That green light showing up and then leaving quietly brings that same idea back. Sometimes the sky carries a message, showing itself in ways that go beyond everyday understanding. From another angle, the green light reminds people of the signs talked about in prophecy, images that appear more to wake folks up than to show off power. Matthew 24-29 says, "The stars will fall from the sky." That Bible verse focuses on things that used to stay fixed, suddenly moving and changing meaning. Revelation 12:1 records, "A great sign appeared in heaven." The phrase "great sign" stresses it's something meant to point the way, opening a deeper way to read these light events. The green orb, with its moving structure inside, feels like a shell hiding something, making the viewer stop and really think. Light is usually there to shine on things, to guide. When light carries its own inner movement, it hints at some kind of purposeful presence. It's a quiet reminder that reality has layers, and some layers only show up at certain moments, that makes the sky feel like a page being turned. And then, when the green fades into the night, the question still hangs there. If the light can watch us, is the sky getting ready for another shift, where the meaning becomes clearer the next time something appears? 10. The sky over Indonesia turned a deep, strange purple. At sunset in some parts of Indonesia, the sky shifted to a rich purple, covering the whole horizon like a curtain slowly closing. The purple spread evenly and stayed steady, giving the feeling that the sky had its own rhythm. Lots of videos captured the moment, showing the light changing phases clearly and lasting long enough for people to step outside and watch. What would you think if the entire sky changed color right in front of you, like a signal we're meant to understand? This happened after a big storm, with thick water vapor and dust hanging in the atmosphere. Sunlight passing through that layer created the deep purple, and the sun's surface looked like it had a gentle shimmer. The color felt almost alive because it pulsed slowly, never harsh or blotchy, but steady and orderly. People who saw it said the sky seemed like a living thing, revealing its mood. Scientists explain it using rare Rayleigh scattering conditions. That makes sense physically, but the way the color blanketed everything and held its shape took the experience beyond just watching normal weather. Plus, similar things happening in other parts of the world at the same time shift the question: what does it mean when the sky changes color like a shared message? Joel 2:31 says, "The sun will turn dark, and the moon will turn to blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes." That verse sets the stage for changes in the sun, moon, and stars as warning signs. A purple sky covering everything feels like a shift in phase, where the normal order gives way to something more serious. Revelation 6:12 records, "The sun became black like sackcloth, and the moon became red like blood." The picture is one of judgment. It doesn't just describe, it points to what comes next. When the sky changes color over a wide area, the message isn't personal anymore. It speaks to everyone, forcing those who see it to face what the moment really means. Luke 21:25 says, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars." That verse makes the sky a kind of signpost. This deep purple showed up after a storm, spread far, and stayed steady, fitting the idea of a public, intentional sign. When the sky changes color, like it has life of its own, it's a final call to wake up and choose. These signs aren't just to make us curious, they set a deadline. If the sky is already speaking through color, all that's left is how we answer before things move into the final stage. What I've shared here doesn't stand alone, and it's not just scattered thoughts or passing feelings. When these things start showing up often, stretching from the sky right down to how people think and feel, a clear red thread begins to appear. Each sign is like a quiet knock, not loud, but strong enough to wake up an inner part of us that's gotten used to treating all the unease as normal. Matthew 16:3 says, "You know how to read the look of the sky, but you can't read the signs of the times." The point here is about understanding what you see, not just seeing it. When the sky changes, when the light takes strange shapes, the real issue isn't the thing itself, it's how our hearts respond to those signs. These unusual signs don't appear just to scare us. They come in order, at the right moment, in the right setting, and they repeat patterns that were warned about long ago. Luke 12:54-56 says, "When you see clouds coming up from the west, you say right away that rain is coming. Why don't you know how to read this present time?" It's a gentle challenge to our indifference, not to our lack of knowledge. What's worth thinking about is that every sign opens a choice. Some call it coincidence, some see it as just a natural event, but others quietly wonder where they fit in the bigger picture. Amos 3:7 declares, "The Lord God does nothing without first revealing his plan to his servants the prophets." As what's being shown gets clearer and clearer, our silence starts to feel heavier. This moment isn't calling for fear, it's calling for being awake. No one is forced to believe, but everyone is invited to consider it. Hebrews 3:15 reminds us, "Today, if you hear his voice, don't harden your heart." That call isn't coming from people, it's ringing through the changes happening right in front of us. If what I've said touches your thoughts at all, feel free to leave a sincere prayer or a quiet reflection in the comments below. That small sharing can be the first step toward real change inside. Also, if you hit the like button, share this, or subscribe to the channel, it helps the message keep reaching others so no reminder gets missed on the road ahead. Revelation 22:20 says, "Yes, I am coming soon." Those closing words aren't meant to end things. They open up a state of watchful waiting. Thank you to everyone who's listened all the way through. I'm sending a prayer that you and your family stay covered in peace and guidance. Amen.
Well, my next guest was a former agnostic engineer who became a Christian pastor. He has spent more than 30
This was God.
What I saw as a sound was just light.
What is it that's making the whole world suddenly feel so uneasy? And why does everyone keep talking about 2026 like it's some kind of point of no return? In just a short time, the sky has changed shape, the ground has reacted violently, and people who were right at death's door have come back with shocking stories. The signs keep coming one after another, clear as day, with no warning, forcing everyone to stop and ask, where is all this leading? 10 phenomena hit one right after the other. Strange lights bursting out, giant human figures appearing in the sky, the moon doubling, tornadoes changing direction, pillars of light standing straight up, storms destroying everything, the sea turning blood red, lightning striking straight down, distorted halos, and fire falling from the sky. Do you think this is all just random coincidence, or is it a warning? If you're feeling unsettled inside, leave a prayer in the comments below. It might be the first step. Now, come along with me as we dig deeper and pull back the curtains on truths you won't be able to forget. We'll start right with 1. People who died and came back saw Jesus with nail marks on his wrists. You know, some folks who had near-death experiences, clinically dead for a bit, came back and said they met Jesus and clearly saw the nail marks on his wrists. They described the moment their heart stopped, their consciousness left their body, and then they faced a specific figure with a form and marks you couldn't mistake. What really shakes people is that these stories come from all over the world, different ages, but they match on one key detail. Jesus has those nail marks. According to Fox News, Pastor John Burke, a former engineer who used to be a skeptic, now the founding pastor of Gateway Church in Austin, Texas, has interviewed over 1,000 near-death cases